Make no mistake, this is not a case where parents were acting in the best interests of their children. This is a case where they flaunted their wealth, sparing no expense, to cheat the system so they could set their children up for success with the best education money could buy, literally.
The college admissions scandal shaking the nation. Why admissions directors say it couldn't come at a worse time.
Public spaces or safe places. The concern that's being expressed by parents about the Malibu Library.
And will the city grant victims of the Woolsey Fire a break as they rebuild? This story and more as News at 5 starts now.
News, weather, and sports. Live from Malibu, this is NewsWaves32.
Cheating the system. University administrators and students react to the largest ever college admissions scandal. Good evening, I'm John Michael Raasch.
And I'm Josie Lionetti. Welcome to this Tuesday night edition of NewsWaves. It's a story of parents going over and above to rig the system for their kids. At Pepperdine, admissions directors are speaking out about the consequences of the recent scandal. NewsWaves32 reporter Emily Tenser joins us live from outside the admissions office with the details. Emily?
This time of year is usually when students find out if they got into or out of the college that they applied to, but now the whole world is finding out about how some students' parents allegedly paid their child's way into college acceptance.
USC, UCLA, Georgetown, Stanford, and many more. Big names, big reputations, all now under fire.
In the largest college admissions scam ever prosecuted by the Department of Justice.
The FBI announced this morning that 38 individuals are taken into custody for allegedly bribing universities to accept their children. The indictment list includes big names like actresses Felicity Huffman and Lori Loughlin.
For every student admitted through fraud, an honest, genuinely talented student was rejected.
And that's how Pepperdine freshman Rachel Stenz feels. Rachel is the same age as Lori Loughlin's daughter, USC freshman Olivia Jade.
It's pretty upsetting to see because I worked really hard to get into Pepperdine, and USC is a more competitive school, so it's really disappointing to see such a prestigious school just let in anyone.
And Rachel is a fan of Olivia, who is a popular YouTuber and social media influencer.
I was pretty shocked because as a YouTuber, she was someone that I kind of looked up to. Like, not only was she like a beauty and fashion inspiration, but the fact that she got into USC was pretty inspiring. So I was pretty disappointed when someone that is a role model for so many people has done something so disappointing and negative.
This all breaks out right on time during prime college acceptance season. Pepperdine's director of admission, Valone Cerna, says although he has never dealt with a situation specifically, he is sure parents have tried to bribe Pepperdine. He has experience dealing with families in a wealthy mentality.
College admission is so different because a lot of families, if they're from that type of background, their world is, what can I pay or what can I do to get what I want?
But at the end of the day, money can only get you so far.
Again, we're talking places like Yale, Penn, Stanford, Georgetown. If you're not academically prepared to be at that place, even if you are able to get in because your parent fudged your record, how's your experience going to be there? How are you going to succeed there?
None of the students were charged, and authorities say some were not even aware this was going on.
Students got into these colleges by having a third party take the SAT or ACT for them, or coaches recruited them to be a part of an athletic team, but they were not asked to play. Universities have still not said if the students involved in this scandal will continue their education there. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thank you, Emily. In other news, we are learning the identity of a body found on Malibu Beach. The body was discovered on Corral Canyon Beach yesterday. Authorities with the Malibu Lost Hills Sheriff's Department say the Hispanic male in his 40s was dead when they arrived. The cause of death is still under investigation.
The Malibu Library is a welcoming place for kids and homeless people. NewsWaves reporter Araceli Crescencio is live at the library with the city's decision to ramp up security there. Araceli.
Concern about the number of homeless individuals here at the Malibu Library continues. Last night, the City Council agreed to fund an additional security guard to help ease security concerns from community members who say they've stopped coming to the Malibu Library because of the number of homeless people they encounter. But we spoke to current security guard here at the Malibu Library, and he assures us that there really isn't a need for another guard. Concern and fear. The 2018 Library Needs Assessment showed that Malibu community members are growing more and more worried about the number of individuals experiencing homelessness near the Malibu Library.
I don't have a problem with homeless people. I'm all for helping homeless people, but I'm not for bringing my 3-year-old child around people that have records, have drug addictions, have weapons.
Last night, the City Council addressed these issues and passed funding for an additional security guard and an enclosed children's area.
Great. All in favor?
Aye.
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 But the current security guard of the Malibu Library doesn't see a need for another guard.
I don't know what a second security guard would do.
He acknowledged that some parents might feel uneasy by an encounter with a homeless person.
Yes, some of the parents have experienced maybe a situation that doesn't make them feel right. I think we've taken care of that. We'll continue to take care of that.
It happened to Elizabeth Smith just last week.
I haven't felt unsafe. We recently had an experience where we were pulling into a parking spot at the library, and an individual who appeared to be homeless did bang on the hood of my car. It startled me.
However, stopping meals at the library is not the solution she sees.
If I know what the solutions are, but I don't think that stopping meals that are dedicated to the homeless is a good solution for that. This community is made up of all different types of people, and we all need to be able to coexist.
O'Shaughnessy says the majority of homeless individuals he's personally met aren't the problem.
Just like in every neighborhood, whether you're homeless or not, you can go to any neighborhood and there's troublemakers there.
He assured NewsWaves32 the library is a safe place.
But as far as this area right here, this parking lot and this library, everybody should feel very safe.
The additional guard will cost $130,000, while enclosing the children's area another $100,000. Security officer told us that for community members who are concerned about their safety, they should come talk to the director of the Malibu Library here, right off of Civic Center Way. Live from Malibu Library for NewsWaves32, I'm Araceli Crescencio.
Thank you, Araceli. Malibu Methodist Church has the city's blessing to continue serving dinner to the homeless. To move the twice-monthly dinners to the courthouse. That plan has been delayed because the courthouse building is not up to code. While fire alarms are installed, the dinners will continue at Malibu Methodist Church. Last night, the council voted to issue a letter in support of Malibu churches feeding the homeless.
Victims of the Woolsey Fire might get a break with the cost of rebuilding. At last night's City Council meeting, residents spoke during the public comment, asking the council to waive permit fees for those rebuilding.
Anyone who lost their primary home in the fire should be given free permitting. But for these fires, the homeowners would not be rebuilding. The city should not profit from a national disaster.
It's expensive, and we don't need any more obstacles to get back on our feet and get back in our homes. And one place that you guys or the city can help out and is to think about adjusting or waiving these fees.
Those who spoke at the meeting emphasized the burden fees would place on their already stressful circumstances, but that the elimination of fees should be given exclusively to those who lost their primary residences. City Manager Reva Feldman responded, saying the council will look at the city budget in April and see if waiving fees is an option. A final decision will be made by June.
The Woolsey Fire debris removal deadline is only days away. Malibu's environmental director reported last night that of the 447 Malibu residents who had their homes destroyed during the Woolsey Fire, 49 have yet to register for debris removal. The deadline is this Friday, March 15th. Cal Recycle's estate program will remove debris, including ash and contaminated soil, at no out-of-pocket cost to property owners. For the first time in more than a month, 70-degree temperatures are back.
Hannah joins us early with the details on the warm-up and the winds. Hannah?
Yes, guys, the sunny skies are finally back, but they are coming with winds. As temperatures are finally returning to normal, wind speeds are above normal. Tonight, 40-mile-per-hour winds are expected, with gusts reaching up to 50 miles per hour. Wind advisories are going into effect at midnight for the area and will last through Thursday morning. After 41 straight days with temperatures below 70 degrees, seasonal norms are back, and some areas may rise above normal to 80 degrees for the weekend. I'll have details on that in my full weather report. Until then, back to you, Josie.
Thank you, Hannah. I'm definitely looking forward to that. In other sadder news, Calabasas is mourning the death of a former leader of the community. The city announced the passing of founding council member and former mayor Karen Foley yesterday. Foley died on March 9th. Foley served 2 terms in the city council from 1991 till 1997 and was the city's first female mayor from 1994 to 1995. Council member James Bozajian remembering Foley as a visionary leader and a passionate public servant. Foley is survived by James, her husband of 49 years, daughter Megan, and son Patrick, along with her 3 grandchildren.
And phasing out plastic again. As the weather improves, how the city of Malibu is moving to protect the environment by banning an import plastic product.
Out of the ashes after the tragedies the campus endured in November, the important symbol of hope that backs up above Pepperdine.
Boeing backlash. After 2 crashes in 5 months, do you want to fly on one of these jets? The important safety questions being asked.
And a long run for the Waves. Highlights from the team's surprising semifinal showing and WCC tournament.
The Woolsey Fire burned Pepperdine's hillsides and destroyed a meaningful cross that stood above the campus. As the community rebuilds, here's how one group of students is stepping up to restore the symbol and comfort a grieving family in the process.
We mentioned that fire is raging near a community that is mourning the loss of 12 people gunned down at a bar filled with college students.
A day after the Pepperdine community lost freshman Elena Housley to the Thousand Oaks shooting, the Woolsey Fire broke out, dealing yet another blow to the community. During the fire, almost 100,000 acres burnt, including parts of the Pepperdine campus. Behind me, you can see a devastating scene left behind due to the Woolsey Fire. But as Malibu residents begin to return, they're starting to rebuild.
We quickly got to work planning, and that was just like, first step was learning how to make a cross.
During the fire, a cross that sat on top of the mountains behind Pepperdine burned down, a cross that was originally put up by the Sigma Chi fraternity. Despite all the damage, one brother decided it was time to build a new one.
And it had burned down, and they noticed that. It was just the talk all over campus when we got back. Part of the reason why we actually put it up so quickly, we knew when these kids were coming back, they're going to see the devastation that came to the area, and we were just hoping to help make it a little bit better.
And to make it better required a lot of work. On the day of the rebuild, almost 30 Sigma Chi brothers brought concrete, paint, and a 20-foot cross up the steep hill.
We had Eric Housley and his wife Hannah join us in putting it up. He was one of the founding members of our chapter here, so his loss is pretty sad for all of us.
We were, evacuated the morning that we found out about Elena, and so 7-8 hours after we had gotten here and got settled, we got out. So it's been, a very emotional time. At the same time, the brothers that have just come out and said hello or been here and then doing this today are some really nice gestures that help to make us feel better in what we're dealing with.
And though it has been a while since Eric has connected with his fraternity brothers, his wife Hannah cannot help but notice their lasting bond.
But at the end of the day, they're going to be there, whenever that is, 20, 30 years later, for whatever reason. There's comfort in that.
And thanks to Sigma Chi, a notable Pepperdine symbol stands once again.
A beautiful story from John, Michael, and a great cause. So Malibu is once again standing firm on protecting the environment. A ban on plastic sandbags was temporarily lifted during all the recent rainstorms is now back in place. The city is encouraging residents to make the switch to burlap or jute sandbags, which they say provide the same protection without the environmental impact. So we won't be preparing for any more rain, I'm thinking.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Because we've had so much of it.
So much.
We're back to the normal temperatures again.
Not even normal, I think highs,
Yeah,
right?
getting above normal
Tell us about that.
this weekend. Yeah, so the warm temperatures and sunny skies are finally back in Malibu. Currently, it is a breezy 67 degrees with winds at 18 miles per hour. Looking at our current surf conditions, the tides are between 2 and 4 feet. However, a high surf advisory will be in effect beginning tomorrow through Thursday morning. With heavy winds, surfers are advised to take extra caution as waves could reach up to 15 feet Wednesday afternoon and dangerous rip currents are likely. Currently, the fire risk is moderate, but will reach a low risk level by this evening. Looking at our neighboring cities, sunny skies prevail and temperatures are in the mid-60s with moderate winds. Calabasas is at a warm 67 degrees, Aurora Hills is at 65 degrees, Thousand Oaks at a cooler 64 degrees, and Santa Monica at a similar 63 degrees. Looking at our 4-day forecast, the sun continues to stay with us through the weekend. Tomorrow is sunny with a high of 66 and a low of 46, with winds at a moderate speed of 12 miles per hour. Thursday is mostly sunny with a high of 67 and a low of 50, with winds at a steady 13 miles per hour. Friday is partially cloudy with a high of 69 and a low of 51. Saturday reaches the 70s as the high will be 72 and the low will be 52. Sunny skies and above normal temperatures will prevail through next week.
Well, I am just absolutely thrilled that we're going to be having some weather reaching above 70 degrees the first time in 40 days.
And
like
no more rain.
Yeah,
we can go outside and see the sunshine.
I'm excited to get to the beach and tan, enjoy the sun.
I don't even remember what it's like to feel warm.
Yeah,
it's just been so
always wearing a sweatshirt, sweater.
So super exciting. Thank you
Thank
so much.
you.
Appreciate it. And after the second deadly crash of a Boeing 737 MAX, 8 plane airlines around the world are grounding the aircrafts, but not any in the U.S.
NewsWaves reporter Lily Spiritos is here with the details on the lawmakers who are calling out American aviation authorities.
More than 15 countries have decided to ground 737 MAX 8 aircrafts, including Indonesia, China, Singapore, and the European Union. America has not followed suit yet, as the Federal Aviation Administration has issued a statement of confidence in the safety of the plane. U.S. lawmakers, including Senators Richard Blumenthal, Dianne Feinstein, and Mitt Romney, all issued criticism against the FAA for this decision. Senator Mitt Romney tweeted out of concern for the flying public, calling for the FAA to take action. Richard Blumenthal tweeted a similar stance, saying the FAA must act quickly. The Ethiopia crash on Sunday marks the second Boeing 737 aircraft crash in the last 5 months. The same plane was involved in a crash in Indonesia in October. That crash killed 189 people. Unfortunately, there were 8 Americans who were also killed in the latest crash, so we are waiting to see if the U.S. takes suit or not.
It's devastating.
Yeah, I hope they do. I just can't imagine, people that have recently flown on that same airplane in the U.S. thinking about this crash that happened in Ethiopia.
Definitely, that is
It's
really
definitely
scary.
putting a lot of fear, and I think, in a lot of flyers right now, and we'll see if the U.S. decides to do something.
I hope so.
Thank you. Before you cook or bake tonight, there's a recall you need to know about.
From leaving Neverland to leaving Las Vegas, the new push against Michael Jackson following the HBO documentary.
Waves Up, a look at the great runs for both the Pepperdine men's and women's basketball teams.
Doe not bothering using the flour.
I thought the conversation.
Doe not bother using the flour in your cabinet. Get it? Well, that's because Hometown Food Company is recalling 12,000 cases of Pillsbury flour. The U.S. Department of Agriculture said the flour may be contaminated with salmonella. The lot codes on the affected cases are 8292 and 8293, with the best if used by date on April 19th and 20th in the year of 2020. Customers are being advised to throw out products or return them for a refund. And from baking to sports, we got our sports reporter here. What's going on with those Pepperdine Waves in the most recent basketball tournament? Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, both Pepperdine basketball teams made it to the WCC semifinals. The clock strikes midnight. Pepperdine men's basketball's Cinderella run comes to an end. The Waves fall 100-74 against number 1 ranked Gonzaga in the West Coast Conference semifinals. Despite the loss, the Waves semifinal run came as a surprise after 3 upset victories in the tournament.
Against the zone for Raasch.
Raasch again. Knocked it down for 3.
Hey, how do you like this guy, Colby Raasch?
Sophomore Colby Ross's go-ahead three-pointer iced the Waves' comeback victory against LMU. The 8th-seeded Waves' magical run opened with a come-from-behind victory against 9th-ranked Pacific. The Waves overcame a 12-point second-half deficit to win 61-53. The comeback kids upset 5th-seeded LMU in the second round 68-65 as Ross's three-pointer completed an 11-point second-half comeback. In the Waves' third game in 3 nights, there would be no comeback needed against 4th-seeded University of San Francisco. The Waves dominated the Dons 89-72, clinching a spot in the WCC semifinals for the 3rd time in 5 years. Heartbreak for Pepperdine women's basketball as their WCC tournament run ends against BYU in the semifinals. The Waves were victorious in their quarterfinal matchup against Pacific.
Off the screen from Bambrick, wide open to the bucket, and she scores. Pepperdine takes the lead.
The Waves' narrow victory over Pacific clinched their first semifinal appearance since 2010. 3rd-seeded Pepperdine defeated 6th-seeded Pacific 87-84. The victory gave the Waves their first 20-win season since 2010. The Waves could not upset number 2-seeded BYU, losing 68-63. The Waves held the lead for the majority of the game, but BYU staged a comeback in the 4th quarter.
Well, thank you for that update. Hopefully next year they can make it all the way to the finals. We shall see.
Definitely, hopefully.
Dethroning the King of Pop, the petition against Michael Jackson following the Leaving Neverland documentary.
It's a whole new world for fans of the Disney classic Aladdin. A look at the new trailer for the new film.
And welcome back to NewsWaves. I'm Jenna Ray Gartner, and this, again, is Around the Town Tuesdays, where I show you what's new in Malibu. Well, the news that made a splash. Today we take a look at the Navy ship that spent a weekend here off our coast.
Over 200 Navy personnel were welcomed to the shores of Malibu on February 22nd. The Navy warship was docked off Malibu Pier for the celebration of Malibu's Navy Days.
I'm here on Malibu Pier, and as you can see, this is the Navy ship docked off the coast behind me. This is the USS Lake Champlain.
Many residents and former sailors were there to support the troops and take pictures of the giant warship. The ship is usually stationed in San Diego and has been trying to visit for 3 years. Now, during their Halton operations, they finally made the trip and are excited to be here. While in Malibu, the officers attended Navy League-sponsored events and participated in service projects for the local community.
Ultimately decided to join the military because I'm super patriotic, and that came out a little weird, but it's a sense of duty, and we're all glad that you guys welcome us into your home, into your town.
But being a part of this ship means more than work. The 350 members grow into a tight-knit community.
There's a sense of camaraderie, I guess you could say. You meet different people from all over the place. It's very diverse, and you get a sense of different cultures, and it's something that you wouldn't experience anywhere else.
It's basically living on a floating dorm room where you have jobs.
Malibu hopes for the opportunity to host them again in the future. Before that, be sure to thank our troops for their service. Reporting for NewsWaves32, I'm Jenna Ray Gartner.
Thank you, Jenna. We are now joined by Kalina, who has all of our entertainment updates. What can you tell us?
Well, we have great news for all those Disney movie fans. Not so good news for Michael Jackson. Character organization is petitioning Mandalay Bay to cancel the Cirque du Soleil show in Las Vegas called Michael Jackson 1. The call comes after HBO released a documentary, Leaving Neverland, where 2 men claim they were sexually abused by the artist. The petition already received nearly 10,000 signatures. The full trailer for Disney's live remake of Aladdin came out today.
Hey, can you make me a prince?
There is a lot of gray area in Make Me a Prince. I could just make you a prince.
Oh, no.
Y'all see my palace?
The The trailer is filled with Bollywood-style musical numbers. Actor Meena Massoud plays Aladdin, who eventually falls for Princess Jasmine, who is played by actress Naomi Scott. The movie will be out in theaters May 24th.
That looks really good. I'm really excited.
It does. I'm excited to see Aladdin finally come to life.
Yeah,
all these Disney movies is
someone
coming
like
out.
Will Smith, great actor. So
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, that will do it for us this evening.
Have a great night, and we'll be back on Thursday.